You're watching NBC 12 News, honored with the Edward R. Murrow Award for the region's best newscast.
Kurt Autry joins us now with more on an easy, almost painless screening that is underway. Early detection, we keep saying it.
That's right. You know, aside from skin cancer, prostate cancer is probably the most curable of the cancers. The trick is catching it early, as you mentioned, Sabrina. And it is so simple. They draw a little blood from your arm, and within a few days, you get the results by mail. The PSA test is a reliable screening for prostate cancer, and it's detecting the disease in its earliest stages when doctors can do something about it. Jim Hanifer of Richmond will tell you this test saved his life.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, just about any devastating act of God, and he'd be there. As an insurance adjuster, he spent 40 years in the fray, jumping headfirst into the path of disasters all around the globe. Jim Hanifer lived his life without fear, or at least he did until a routine visit to the doctor a few years ago and the devastating diagnosis of cancer.
December '95, there was a significant elevation, and we thought it could be from other reasons, so we waited a little while, and after the holidays, we had it taken again, and again it spiked even higher, so that was clearly a red flag.
That red flag was a simple blood test called a PSA, a reliable, painless screening for prostate cancer, a disease with no real symptoms. And although it's more common in older men, prostate cancer can strike any adult male at any time.
If your father had prostate cancer at age 45, you need a PSA at 30. It runs in families. Certain families have prostate cancer really early ages.
As for Jim, he retires from this large Richmond insurance brokerage firm in about 10 working days. He expects to enjoy a long, prosperous retirement with his family, and he owes it all to a simple, painless test.
It sounds like a trite expression, but you know, you can save a life, and it can be your own for just those couple of minutes of time invested. You know.
Our next low-cost PSA screening is Friday at the new Chippenham Crossing U-Crops. Now, keep in mind that's a brand-new store, only been open a couple of weeks. It's near Chippenham and Iron Bridge Road. The Health Drive team with your neighborhood hospitals will be set up there from 9 a.m. until 6, and there will be several more screenings throughout the month, and of course, we'll keep you posted on the dates and times here in HealthCast. African-American males at highest risk, people with a high fatty diet, any male over the age of 50. These are the folks that need to get in and take advantage of this low-cost screening.
All right, Jim Hanifer said it all.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Kurt.
Still ahead, it's the curse that affects 1 out of every 2 men at some point in their lifetime. But prostate cancer can be managed if caught early. Coming up in HealthCast, details about a painless, low-cost screening that could...
But it's become more common in yearly physicals, Sabrina. The PSA, it's a simple blood test, and it should be a part of every man's yearly physical starting at the age of 50, some even earlier, because caught in time, prostate cancer is very manageable. And a word of warning, this story does contain surgery video, and if you're squeamish, you might want to turn away.
About how many of you have actually executed an advance directive of some kind, whether a health care power of attorney or living...
A Wednesday night support group at a Midlothian church. All the men here have a common bond, prostate cancer. As depressing as it sounds, Don Lynham is thankful to be here. He credits a routine company physical and the simple PSA blood test with saving his life.
My result came back elevated, slightly elevated, and the company physician recommended that I see a urologist.
Don had his prostate removed, but this surgery is better and less invasive than ever before. There was a time when a large incision was required. Now, through pelvioscopic prostate removal, surgeons make only 4 small incisions, and with a scope, they can often protect the nerves that surround the gland, saving sexual function. In this procedure, the prostate is removed, bagged internally, and then taken out through the belly button. The key to Don's success was early detection. That's why a yearly PSA starting at age 50 is so important.
There are certain populations of people who we would consider high risk, and those are mostly African Americans, because the risk in an African American developing prostate cancer is significantly higher than it is in a white American.
NBC 12 and U-Crops pharmacies have teamed up with the Columbia HCA Health Drive team for a low-cost PSA screening. The first is tomorrow at the Brook Run U-Crops. They'll be set up from 10 a.m. until 3. Now, this is a simple blood test, and you receive the results in the mail. The cost is $30, which is about half the normal price. We did the screening last year, and about 10% of those that participated had elevated PSA levels. However, Jean Sabrina, an elevated PSA is not a diagnosis of cancer. There are other reasons, other factors that can elevate your PSA. So after an elevated PSA, you can go in for an ultrasound and a digital rectal exam to find out if you do, in fact, have prostate cancer.
And perhaps avoid that surgery.
We certainly saved some lives last year.
Thank you, Chris. We'll be right back.